Hello and welcome to the first devlog for Warband TTRPG. Thank you for clicking on this random video. And let's begin. So, what exactly is this? This is supposed to be a series of videos about this TTRPG I'm making, this tabletop RPG I'm making. This is the very first devlog where I will introduce, the basics, the ideas of what I want to make, with the rest of the devlogs showing both my process and what is going to keep changing. Warband is supposed to be a heroic fantasy RPG based off, D&D, Daggerheart, Pathfinder, the whole 9 yards. There are many out there, but I want to do something a little different, give both mechanical complexity and storytelling opportunities, role-playing opportunities, more of a spotlight. So, this is a brief list of my ideas for the game. Let's see how many will become real as I keep working on this. Let's start with narrative archetypes. And you'll see right ahead where I'll be taking some of my inspiration. It's not just heroic fantasy RPGs. To the left is an art for a supplement called Character and Trait Baronies for the Lancer TTRPG. Really cool, awesome work. And on the right is Going Rogue by Jess Levine. Lancer is by Massif Press. So the reason these RPGs are on screen is because they play with playbooks and what I like to call, at least, narrative archetypes, where the characters are defined by a set of, honestly, prompts, where they can interact narratively with the game. It's a way to express your character in a way that is gamified and structured, which I find to be really cool, and I want to put my own spin on it. But now let's talk about the namesake of this RPG, that being the Warband. So this is an art for the Record of Lodoss Warriors, and OVA from the 90s. Really, really good. I watched it recently. But this is basically it's an adventuring party. We got the warrior, we got wizard, cleric, thief, another warrior, and the elf that's between another wizard and another warrior, really. So the idea is that the Warband will have mechanics where the group can interact with each other, can support each other in different ways. Not just, I give you healing, or I give you this buff. No, but say collecting food, exploration. This will be a task for the group, and the group can give strength to each other in this way. But the whole Warband system will also allow you for you to expand your group. Maybe instead of just your party, you make a guild, you make a caravan, you make a whole organization, a rebel group fighting against this evil empire. It allows you to do so. Also allows you to scale down and just focus on your party. The idea is supposed to be a blend of group archetypes from, say, City of Mist, another awesome RPG by Son of Oak, and the whole Stronghold system from D&D 5e. Now, let's talk character. We already talked a little bit about character, those being the narrative archetypes that are supposed to be the foundation of your character, who your character is in the narrative of the game. But how this character develops, the skills they have, and how they interact with the world in more mechanical ways through, say, magic or doing combat with the sword or axe or mace. That will be the domain of my advancement system. As a principle, I reject levels and experience, which is going to sound, almost like blasphemy, because that is what the basis of a lot of RPGs nowadays, specifically heroic fantasy. So if you look at Daggerheart, which is an RPG that focuses a whole lot more on narrative play, they still use levels. So what am I replacing this with? Well, my whole problem with levels is how gamey it feels. So what I'm going to do, is that instead of your character just going through combat and getting experience, whatever that means, and now they can shoot fireballs or shoot, they can get some greater spells, or now they can do this thing, basically out of nowhere almost. Well, now you're going to have to train those abilities. You're going to have to study those magic formulas. You're going to have to maybe, look for someone who can train you in those skills. Character advancement becomes part of play, becomes something that the players are looking forward to do. It's not something that happens automatically, where, from my experience, what usually happens is that at the end of every session, my players always ask how much XP they made, and more specifically, if they have leveled up yet. Instead, they have to go forward and get those skills. And this also interacts with the whole Warband system I was talking about, the whole group dynamics. One character can train themselves and, more specifically, specialize themselves in becoming the cook. Instead of just making food to not go hungry, we can make food to, give buffs, give healing, give stuff like that. And while we're on the topic, specializations are basically my interpretation of prestige classes. You get a certain skills, and now you can get this specialization that gives you more unique abilities for your character. Some specializations require other specializations, but all of them have to get some specific skill, usually. For example, if you want to get the Berserker specialization, you need to learn Rage, how to rage and how to use Rage. It's a whole thing. While on the topic, magic. As you can probably expect, I have a bit of a problem with how magic is done nowadays. I don't like that you just, suddenly you learn these spells and you just wave your magic wand, you say a few magic words, and then you launch a fireball. It's fine, but it feels a little bit artificial. It just doesn't feel like you're using this incredibly special thing. And my two inspirations for how I'm going to make the magic in Warband TTRPG would be stark examples of occultism, stuff like that. On the left here you can see a binding circle. I think this one is found in the Asgoisha, the Ezekiel Solomon. Basically a book listing a bunch of demons that you can summon and bind them. And they have a lot of specific rules that you gotta learn if you don't want to, lose your soul. So for example, you're supposed to stand inside the circle, inside the triangle, so you protect yourself. A lot of specific stuff, a lot of ritual magic. On the right, you see Slane. He's the party wizard in Record of Lodoss War. And he is here because in the very first episode, when he's casting the spell to, well, ward his allies and beat up a bunch of monsters, he started chanting, "Oh, great creator." And I looked at that and I thought, wow, that's really cool. That's a very different way to make a wizard instead of just launching lightning bolts or launching a fireball. Just these waves of forces just start appearing, just bashing the monsters. It was really cool. In short, go watch Record of Lodoss War. It's in the Internet Archive. It's really cool. Now let's talk combat and the more mechanical side of Warband. Another pet peeve I have is in regards to damage and healing. One of the big problems I had is that, at least with D&D, if you haven't noticed a pattern, is that I have a lot of pet peeves with D&D. And it's that when a character falls to 0 HP, if you heal them, they're back. They're simply back. I don't really like that. Like they literally fell unconscious. They were bleeding out and just threw a cure wounds or a healing word or just a minor healing potion, and now they're back and they can fight at full force immediately. So in my system, what I want is that taking damage is scary because you're going to die, but also taking damage, it kind of makes you weaker on the long run. It's supposed to be, oh, you took a little bit of damage, now you're useless in combat. That's not what I'm trying to do. That would be awful to play with. That would be disgusting. That's not what I'm trying to do. But slowly, during combat, if the players are not careful, and if they start to accumulate a lot of damage, or they will need to heal. And healing during combat, you can heal some HP, but the wounds will remain. And the wounds are what is actually making you weaker. So while you can take more damage, you remain weaker. So out of combat, in longer processes, you can remove those wounds. Of course, at higher levels, you have ways of removing wounds during combat, but it would still supposed to be a omnipresent force that if you get wounds, you will get weaker. That's simply how it works. Now, you probably read this tension system and you're wondering, well, what is that? What am I talking about? The tension system, something I am still developing, but the main idea is, as combat progresses, there's this a tension counter that keeps going up, and the abilities, skills, attacks of every single character in combat scale off that tension number. So combat will keep getting more and more and more intense as time goes on. Of course, this can give to different styles of fighting. You will have ways of artificially increasing tension for yourself, allowing you to make big bursts of damage while no one else can. Or you might prefer a slower style, slowly acquiring advantage for yourself and using the tension system to constantly grow more and more powerful throughout the fight. The tension system is supposed to represent both narrative influence, like say the tension system increases round by round, but can also increase, for example, when an ally dies and suddenly the whole suddenly combat becomes either running for your life or avenging your fallen ally. So the tension increases. I'm still working on it. It's not perfect, I'm sure. I can already think of some problems with it. But when I'm done and really ready to showcase what I've developed, I'll show it off. So, honestly, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this random ass video that you found in your For You page. Like this video if you liked, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll try posting weekly videos showing the development of the game. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you again. Bye.